Is your small business growing? That's the question we address right here on the Grow Your Biz Show. It's where we interview strategic entrepreneurs who inform and inspire you on your solopreneur or small company journey. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Grow Your Biz Show. Hi, this is Paul Madsen of the Grow Your Biz Show. I'm joining you today on a special edition of the Grow Your Biz Show. Usually, as you know, if you've watched the show over the years, I can say years now, you'll notice, of course, that I interview people. I love interviewing small business owners and people who want to launch a small business. It's fun. It's fun to hear their stories, and it's even more fun when their stories inspire viewers like you. I really enjoy the process. We've been taping shows at the KPAO-TV studio for well over a year now, maybe closer to 2, and it's been a great experience, and I thank the staff here for all their hospitality. And speaking of hospitality, that's what we're going to talk about today. It's an upside down world going on right now, and I'm going to back up in case you're not familiar with the show. The Grow Your Biz Show is focused on helping people launch to their next level. It's focused on entrepreneurs and how they can get to a higher self, a higher plane, get something started, just make it happen for themselves. Even if they already have something going, how can they make something go to a higher level than what they have right now? So that's what the Grow Your Biz Show is all about. We've interviewed dozens and dozens, scores, I guess you could say, of entrepreneurs. Some are famous, some are not so famous, some are the person next door, people you haven't even heard of before, but hopefully you will as their businesses grow as well. So anyway, moving back, today, in all the news, you can't get away from anything without hearing about the coronavirus. A very serious matter, a very scary matter, and everybody's taking it serious. In fact, the reason for this new format today is because of scheduling. Guests were unable to make it because of the craziness caused out there. So again, wash your hands, listen to all the news about how to prevent this, stay home a lot more, and that's what this show is going back to as well. I mentioned the word hospitality. Hospitality is hit hard in this time because why? Well, no one's traveling, no one's going any place with all the craziness out there. The airlines are not going overseas. The overseas people are not coming here. In Omaha, Nebraska, we have major cancellations. We have the College World Series is canceled. The Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting is canceled. We had some early on NCAA basketball rounds scheduled here in Omaha that are canceled. And how does that affect us as a local economy? You know, a lot of people say, okay, I'm going to work from home, and they can. But here's what this show is dedicated toward. How about the rest of the people who can't work from home? You know, think about the people who, it's probably a part-time job, maybe it isn't, who sell concessions at all these events we mentioned. People who work in the restaurants and the bars and the theaters and where all these places where they can't work from home because their job is at a facility, it's at a location. How is this all going to affect them? Well, it occurred to me with the schedule change that we have going on that we need to put our money where our mouth is here on the Grow Your Biz Show. Maybe instead of talking about some kind of computer business that someone can start or something like that, let's talk about a business that anybody can start, and maybe the person who sells concessions needs to come up with another income right away. And I'm not talking about starting a computer software business. I'm talking about something that can put money in their pocket right now. If we are the Grow Your Biz Show, well, let's put some ideas out there. Let's make it happen. Let's get it going and see what people can do. Before we jump into that, I wanted to talk about the idea of, you know, how to form a business. So often people say, well, I don't know what business I would start. How can I start a business? What would I do? I have no skills, no ideas of what to start. Well, what I'm suggesting to you is a three-point formula that might give you some ideas. And then after that, we're going to go back and we'll form some other ideas about just bread and butter stuff that might work as well. What I'd like to start with is what I call the passion itch. The passion itch. Passion and niche, the two words put together. I first used it in my book, Laid Off and Loving It, for 2010. Yeah, 10 years old now. It has some great truths in it that are timeless. So even though it's 10 years old, it does talk about how to build on your skills and launch something. So the passion itch. What is the passion itch concept? Right now, I'd like you to take out a piece of paper, and we're going to draw some things. Not fancy drawing, don't worry, very easy. Draw a circle. Can you draw a circle? That's what we're going to do. Upper left side of your paper, that's draw a circle that takes almost a third of that paper up. And just go ahead and do that. And then we're going to write the word skills inside of that circle, just up toward the edge somewhere, doesn't really matter where. Next, I'd like you to draw another circle, and this one overlaps the first circle, about a third of it somewhere in there, so there's a third overlap of the circle. And go ahead and do that, draw the circle, and make sure it overlaps into the first circle. When you have that done, I wish I had a whiteboard. When you have that done, I would ask you to put the words experience in there, experience somewhere in there. So go ahead and do that. And that's all we're going to do with those two circles. Next, a third circle. I'm sure you got this. You can handle it. Third circle on the bottom. Make that circle so it overlaps both of those circles, and that there's a little section in there that can show the overlap. The academic types know this as a Venn diagram. I'm not sure I'm that fancy, but I'm just talking about overlapping circles. So on the bottom circle, the label for that one is passion. So upper left, skills, experience, passion. What the step of the process is at this point is for you to fill in these skills. Just brainstorm all the skills you have. Maybe you're good at talking to people. Maybe you're good at jokes. Maybe you're good at singing. Maybe you're good at typing. Maybe you're good at word processing. Maybe you're the life of the party. Maybe you're good at analyzing things. Put out any skill. And there's no dumb skill. Put all of them that you can in that box. And I won't wait for you to do that, but just go ahead and list. If you can list 20 skills, that'll keep your brain stretching and working hard to try to get to that point where you have all of those skills listed. Next, what I'd like you to do is over on the experience side. Again, we're talking here today about helping people who might be impacted by the virus layoffs, I'll call them, where they're not serving people. They're not working on the hospitality side of things. So on their experience, any experience you have, things that your work experience, you've been a waitress, you've been a waiter, you've been a concession worker, you've been a groundskeeper, you've been something, whatever you've been, and all of a sudden the people aren't showing up for them. You've been a flight attendant, I don't know. List all the experience, all the jobs you've had, not necessarily the skills you have, they're over on the other side, but list all the jobs and all the work that you've done. Go way back to teenage life, whatever. Doesn't matter, just we want to have a whole summary of all those experiences that you've had. And go ahead and take time to do that. And with the last one, it's pretty obvious, the passion. Everybody's passionate about something. And I want you to fill in your passions. Maybe your passion is animals. Maybe your passion is gardening. Maybe your passion is performing. One of my passions is creating media. I love it. And so that would be in my bottom loop, of course. Skills, an example for me, I would have maybe interviewing, where I talk to people, and marketing and sales. On the job side, we don't have enough time to list all my jobs. Way too many jobs. Lots of jobs. At the bottom, like I said, creating media, creating marketing, helping people to really get their potential out there, helping them to thrive, to realize what skills and interests and assets they have that they can bring to a market as an entrepreneur. So that's some of the things that I have, and this isn't about me, it's about you, so we'll move on. Okay, you know the rest of the exercise, I'm sure. The rest of the exercise is, of course, to fill in that middle section. Now, how do I fill in that middle section? Well, I look at my experiences, and I look at my skills, and I look at my passions on the bottom. And I might say, well, how do those overlap? What's the mix? In my case, interviewing is one of my skills. My experience, as a recruiter, I interview thousands and thousands of people, and my bottom is helping people realize their potential. And so it's natural. I would put, for me, in the middle section there, in the overlapping area, I would put media for entrepreneurs, media to help people create their passion, create their businesses, grow their businesses. That's my example. What's yours? And without you here for me to talk to and bounce back and forth on, it's hard for me to figure out what yours are. But I think if you look at all three sections long enough, then you'll be able to mix those down together and come up with a couple of different ways to earn money that merge your skills, merge your experience, and merge your passions. We're going to talk about that in a very practical way as well next. So that's where we're going. I'll move around to the chair and we'll discuss a little bit about how you can practically make some money with this diagram that we just created, how we can actually make it happen so those things work together and you can get some money, because guess what? A lot of those jobs serving the hospitality industry and the travel industry, they're temporarily gone. I have faith that we as a nation are going to beat this. We're going to do fine. We just have to not panic in the meantime. I'm quite certain we're going to just thrive as a result of this. So anyway, it's a temporary setback. In the meantime, we all need to earn some money, right? Well, taking your example of your passion niche, the thing you created with the 3 circles, let's talk about some practical rubber hits the road type of ideas that you might be able to do to go out and make some money. These are very obvious, and people say, oh, I couldn't do that, or I don't want to do that. Well, guess what? When you're an entrepreneur or you're forced into no money, sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to do. I've done plenty of that along the way, and probably a better person because of it. They say it's the process and the person you become that you from going through the process that is the real end result. I think Jim Rohn was one of the first to say that. Well, in this day and age, let's look at the opportunity. I mean, maybe you're an organized person. Maybe you're a very efficient person. If you're in a situation where we have a lockdown, people over 60 are told to stay home. California just had an announcement where they said anybody over 60 should stay put, or 65, I think it was, stay put. And that's going to be that's going to be frightening to a lot of older people. And guess what? Maybe some of these older people don't have access to a computer or don't know how to use the internet to shop for food and have the delivery services come to their house. So what could you do? Maybe within your circle of friends, within your church group, within your neighborhood, or some kind of organization that you belong to or know about. Maybe there's people there. You make up a little business card that says Paul's Grocery Shopping Services. No guarantees that you'll find toilet paper. Not a funny thing, but it's a crazy thing hitting our society right now. So a grocery shopping service doesn't take a whole lot of skill. Yes, the grocery stores will do that. They'll bring it to the curb for you. If you do it, maybe you collect the list from all these people in your neighborhood or whatever who cannot leave the house or don't want to leave the house. How about doing that? And I don't know what you charge. It doesn't matter. The point is that you're doing something to get some money. Do you charge what the market bears? You ask, you say to Grandpa and Grandma, would you pay me X dollars to do this? And they'll react, and if they overreact, they'll say no. I heard about a guy who set up a car wash, and he says it's a fundraiser. And he said, I'm not saying you could do this in March in Nebraska, but he says, it's a fundraiser. Someone pulled up and said, how much? He says, well, it's whatever money you want to pay because it's a fundraiser. And the guy said, what's a fundraiser? What's the fund? What's it raising money for? He says, me, I want to go to this business meeting, and therefore I'm having this car wash. And he did not have a set price on it. So what happened is people could give him $5, some gave $20, some gave $25. He was amazed at how much people would pay just to help him out. Anyway, back to Grandma and Grandpa. You'll know how much to charge by asking. I often quote Taylor Korinsky, who was on the show twice. Hi, Taylor. He says that when he went to UNO for studies, they suggested to talk to 100 people about your business plan. Well, buying groceries for somebody for shut-ins is not a very complicated plan, but by talking to 3 or 4 or 5 or 10, whatever the number, you're going to be able to have a pretty good idea what you should charge. And I have no idea what to recommend. I just recommend what? Action. Try it. Sit at home and say, oh man, my job dried up. Well, guess what? I've been there, done that many times. And what's the cure? Action. Take some activity and make it happen for yourself. Okay, another example of supply and demand and problems that we're all facing because of this right now would be babysitting. I mean, I know a lot of us don't want to be a babysitter. I'm almost finally an empty nester, and that's kind of exciting at our house. The point is, many people who have families, mom and pop still have jobs, but maybe they can't work from home on their job, but Junior is stuck at home because schools are closed. Almost all the schools are closed right now, at least for a couple weeks or more. And what kind of opportunity is that? No, you don't want to be a babysitter? Well, maybe you can figure out a way to have a play event where several kids come to the park near you or whatever. Obviously, you're going to do this with people who know you and you know as well, so they can trust you and those kind of things. Because I'm not talking about the sophisticated getting a daycare license and a building and all that. Or maybe it's just as simple as you kind of house sit for somebody during the day. And guess what? Mom and dad are probably thrilled with the idea of someone they know coming into their house to watch Junior and maybe watch Junior do the online school, which is where a lot of the schools are taking this whole crisis thing. Just an idea. I mean, babysitting, call it daycare, call it digital daycare, whatever you want to call it. It's an opportunity. You're out of work, you're not doing anything. They have a problem, they have to go to their work, and yet their son or daughter is at home and needing some guidance. And so, what to charge? It's pretty easy. Google that and find out what the going rates are. Talk to people. Talk to 10 people. Talk to 20 people. Talk to 100 people. You'll have an idea. Again, a very practical thing that's going to meet the needs of what's going on out there right now in this crisis that we are having. Another one. Again, this is kind of a not legitimate market, but guess what? Parents need, their whole routines are shot right now with all the staying home, not staying home, the school, out of school. Parents need more than ever, perhaps, someone to drive their kids places. The best way to do that is get your license, get your transportation requirements, get your insurance and your bonding and all that. I recommend that 100%. A lot of people do it without that. So I'm not recommending that, but just consider it as an idea. Why? Because right now we're in a crisis and a lot of parents don't know what to do with their kids. Just an idea. Talk to your lawyer, talk to your insurance person, make sure everything's good that way, but I'm here throwing out ideas. Again, the idea, related type of idea would be just tutoring. Maybe you'll come in for a part of the day to help the kids with their lessons when they're getting there and getting their online assignments. I mean, they don't get 100% attention from the teacher online 100% of the time. Maybe you come in and help guide them through their lessons. Are you a certified teacher? No, or some might be, or a retired teacher would have a perfect opportunity with this. But I don't think you have to be a certified teacher because you're not saying this is a daycare. You're not saying this is a school. You're kind of a babysitter, but your focus is you're helping the student to advance in their studies. And parents will be thrilled to have someone there to guide because they have to go to work, and in most cases. Along the lines of all these kind of domestic services would be an errand runner. I mean, especially for the seniors. They can't go out. They're not supposed to go out. They don't want to go out, and they're the most vulnerable during the virus situation. So how many of them need someone to go to the store and get a certain thing? I mean, I'm not talking about groceries. We already discussed that. How many of them need, and you could make the list yourself, but how many people need someone to help them go to the pharmacy, go get their stuff? I mean, just errand runner, put in your business card on a door or something like that, or advertising on social media. Again, maybe the number of seniors aren't on social media, but I've heard that millions of grandparents are on Facebook. So that's a place. You don't know how to use Facebook? Well, talk to a friend who does, because a lot of people do. Pretty easy to set up a business page. Don't even have to do that. Just use it on your personal page. Say, I will run errands for seniors, and I'm sure we can come up with a catchy name. Let's have coffee, and we'll talk about that. My free service to you during this crisis is to brainstorm with you. That's what I specialize in jingles, catchy names, slogans, all those kind of things to get stuff to happen. Well, what else is out there? Let's talk about the other kinds of things. A handyman is an idea. Again, the whole point of all these, you say, oh, gee, what's that going to get me? $25? Well, guess what? I would make $150 a shift as a waitress or whatever. Well, none of these are going to cover you full time for all of your money and all of your needs. And besides, we all need more money, right? Well, the handyman, the transportation, the tutoring, the grocery shopping, just some basic ideas about how you can go about doing things. I've got a longer list than that. If you're good with electronics, maybe the seniors. Those people are stuck at home. Maybe they're not good with computers. Maybe they don't have a computer set up. Maybe they don't have entertainment centers set up, but now they're home more than ever. Maybe there's a service for you. If you're under 30 years old, you probably know how to do all this stuff, but they don't know how to get themselves. Maybe they need to learn how to use Skype, learn how to use Zoom, learn how to use Facebook Live, and you can go around and teach them, get them set up on these things so they're not so isolated, and they're not, I mean, I think that would be depressing for the seniors as well to have to stay home and do those kind of things. Well, there's a lot more on my list, but just training, think of that. How fulfilling would that be to go start with your own grandparents. Go to them and help them to get things to happen with the whole idea of joining the digital age, so they're not so isolated, so they can see their grandkids. Again, a lot of grandparents are that way, but maybe there's a business for you to do something like that as well. Well, as we wrap up, I just wanted to throw out the idea again. Are any of these going to be a permanent income for you? Are any of them going to help you to replace any income that you might have had otherwise? Are they going to be what your long-term solution is? Or maybe they could be. Maybe you start this business and realize, guess what? I can hire other people as contractors to do this as a business as well. So I can still go back to my other job after the crisis has passed, and in fact, have other people doing this. Who knows what kind of business you could set up. The point is to grow your own business and not be a victim of all this craziness that's out there. Just think creatively, think big, think, what could I do? And yeah, that would never pay enough money for me, Paul. Well, guess what? You got that one doing this, you got a little bit of this, you got a little bit over here, and all of a sudden maybe you've replaced half of your income, maybe not. But guess what? Like I said before, the whole process of trying things and seeing what it is that you're capable of doing and the person that you could become in this whole process is very exciting. And again, don't be a victim. Get out there, take action. I'd love to have coffee with you and talk about your ideas, see where they go. What I do is I make videos for people and put them on their social media. It might be perfect for you to introduce your service to the world. We make a catchy little video and get your idea out there, especially in this day and age of all the isolation going on. So that's about all we have time for right now. I want you to be creative. I want you to be not a victim. I want you to get out there and grow something. And this is Paul with growmedia.com on the Grow Your Business Show, Grow Your Biz Show, episode number 114. Thanks for watching, and keep calm, wash your hands, and get out there and make something happen. Thanks for joining us.